Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Table and Plate Project Delta podcast. Each place has its own culture and vibe, and you're joining me, Dr. Ellen Harris, as I learn, explore, discover, experience, and talk about food and culture in the Mississippi Delta. Today, I have the pleasure of holding a conversation with Mr. Robbie Pollard. Hope I got that right. Robbie is a small-scale vegetable farmer and agripreneur from the Mississippi Delta that specializes in sustainable agricultural practices. He also is the owner of Start to Finish Farms, LLC, and the founder of the Happy Foods Project, Incorporated. Welcome, Robbie.
Thank you.
Now, before we get deep in our conversation about farming, tell me a little bit about yourself. Were you born and raised in Mississippi, and where?
Yes, I was born and raised in Batesville, Mississippi.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've been to Batesville. There's a Buddhist temple tucked deep into the woods in Batesville.
Yeah, that's I know the place. I forgot the name of it, but it's like down off of Ballantyne Road or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I went to a silent retreat there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, that was pre-COVID, but yes, it's beautiful back up in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you were born and raised in Batesville. So
Mm-hmm.
When did you start farming?
I started learning to grow vegetables in 2011, and I actually started growing commercially in probably 2019, growing vegetables commercially in 2019. But in 2011, I started gardening. I learned how to grow vegetables because I really didn't know how to grow vegetables before, before I started gardening. And, I learned to garden, became a master gardener, and, now
What got you started on that track?
It was just a point in my life where I wanted to do something different. Because I got a degree. I have a degree in management of information systems.
Okay.
I was working in the IT field, and I just wanted to do something different.
Yeah, IT can do that to you. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Can drive you to wanting to do something with the earth and stuff. So you became a master gardener.
Mm-hmm.
Was that through extension or just learning from others?
Well, that was through the Mississippi State Extension.
Oh, okay. All right. Mm-hmm. And so once you became a master gardener, what led you then to want to go the commercial route?
What led me to want to go to the commercial route? In 2014, I started. I was awarded a grant through the Farmers Market Promotion Program, which I started a mobile farmers market.
Okay.
But it wasn't a lot of people growing produce in the area, so I wasn't really able to supply the market. And a lot of the farmers, they already had their markets, and they didn't really support my market. So I was like, okay. So with that, since I was still growing a few vegetables,
mm-hmm.
but it wasn't enough to supply the market. So we started providing healthy foods, and in place of vegetables, like salads and wraps and smoothies and things of that nature.
Okay.
And when I couldn't find enough produce, so I was just like, I got to learn how to grow commercially. So
okay.
that's what I've been working.
Okay. And so did that lead to the Start to Finish Farms, or how did you get started there?
Well, yeah, that led to start. Well, during that process, I started Start to Finish Farms, along that process.
Okay.
And, just been, growing and learning how to farm ever since. It's been a learning curve, because it
I
wasn't
know.
easy.
I know, and I'm probably in that gardener stage. Not quite a master, but I've been expanding and expanding my garden. So we have a mutual friend, Chris. Chris helped me last year. I had 4 raised beds, and then I wanted to expand the garden. So he and another friend of his spread that fabric weed cloth down for me, and prepared the soil first and everything, and then burnt the little holes in the section, and he had to talk me out of not putting so many holes. He said, you know how many plants that's gonna be? Because I wanted every hole to be burned, and so he said, why don't we do every other and stuff like that. So I was pretty successful last year, not as much as I would like, but because I was growing watermelon and cantaloupe from seeds that I had saved. And the cantaloupe did very well, but the watermelon didn't do so hot. But I grew okra and a bunch of other things. So that leads me to ask you, what are you growing?
We're growing strawberries, tomatoes, okra, bell pepper, hot pepper, squash, and we're gonna do some oregano and parsley and some purple hull peas.
You got to do purple hull peas. I swear everybody does purple hull peas in the Mississippi Delta. Sometimes I want to say, do y'all know about any other pea? But people in the Delta love purple hull peas. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they do. And then we also probably gonna do a few butter beans.
Oh, okay. All right. Butter beans aren't quite my thing, but my dad used to love butter beans. But it's something that's lima beans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lima beans and butter.
Yeah. I will try any kind of food because both my parents were excellent cooks. But butter beans and grits are 2 things that don't quite sit right with me.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of my preferences, I could do without. Somebody told me, in fact, last week, well, you're not a true Southern girl if you don't like grits. And I said, well, I guess not. But grits is not my thing. So with your Start to Finish farm now, you have a market?
Yes, we're working on a on farm farmers market. Yeah, that's what we're out there doing now. We're building up a space that we had on farm so we can turn that into a farmers market, and we're going to do vegetables and plants and flowers and stuff like that.
Okay.
That we'll be able to sell to them.
Okay, and where exactly now are you located?
I'm located in Marks. It's off of Section 5 Road in Marks, Mississippi.
Okay, so is that near that Alcorn Marks processing plant?
Yes, it is. It's like 2 miles from, 2 or 3 miles from.
Okay, all right. Okay, because I've been to that processing plant before. That was also pre-COVID, but we took a field trip there, Um, that was very interesting. That's about an hour and a half from Greenville or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm definitely going to have to make a trip to your farm. I had to go to Atlanta last week, so I couldn't make it. And I drove. So that all that, having been so sedentary these past couple of years, besides walking and stuff like that, that drive, I think, took a lot out of me. So I had to vegetate over the weekend. So, but once the weather clears, I'm going to make a visit to your farm and check you out.
Great.
Okay,
great.
So you also are the founder of Happy Foods Project. What is that?
Well, the Happy Foods Project is a healthy food initiative that I created a couple of years ago, and with that we have an on farm. That's the on farm farmers market is going to be. That's part of the Happy Foods Project.
Okay.
And we're also doing a website called the happyfoodsproject.com, and we're going to have produce from my farm and other local growers that the Happy Foods Project helps out.
Okay. And so how did you come about that name?
Happy Foods Project? How did I come about the Happy Foods Project? Well, when I was 16, I moved to Milwaukee, and my brother-in-law, he had a store called Happy Foods, and when I was writing the farmers market promotion program grant, I was thinking, I was just thinking of doing something in remembrance of him, and I came up with the Happy Foods Project. And it was, I wanted it to be like the Happy Foods Project, that how like nowadays it's so saturated with with negative things, like with the community is so saturated with negative things like drugs and things of that nature. So I wanted to just saturate the community with fresh produce and healthy foods. That was my whole mindset of the Happy Foods Project.
Okay, all right. That sounds beautiful. I like that. So it's a project. So are you involving young people or folks in the community? What's the project part?
Yes, we're involving young people to come and work at the farm, and we also I would like to create help them to become farmers. And with our farm over there, wanted to be a demonstration farm, a working, sustainable demonstration farm where they can see where you can make a living growing produce and being a farmer.
Okay.
And we also work with with elderly growers in the community. Yeah, ones who don't, because it's a lot of, we have a lot of farmers and gardeners in the community that they grow nice produce, but they're not making a viable income with growing that produce. And with the farmers market, we take produce from them and then in turn sell it at our farmers market. And we also go to other area farmers markets, because a lot of the older people, they don't like to go to farmers markets to sell.
Right.
So we help them by taking their produce to other farmers markets and also selling it at our farmers market. And, so we just make it so everybody, we spreading the wealth.
Right.
Spreading the wealth, and then teaching the youth of, the importance of growing their own food, and starting a business in agriculture, because that's one of the things that I want to do is just bring more youth into growing vegetables and into being agripreneurs. Some may not want to grow vegetables, but it's something else that you could do. You could start a healthy food truck, or you can do something like that. Just something that brings the community up and provide them with fresh and healthy food.
Okay, and that's how you're defining this agripreneur?
Yes.
Okay.
Agripreneur, just something just dealing with agriculture and food.
Okay. All right. So is there any advice that you would give people in the community or young people about getting involved or getting started in agriculture?
The advice that I would give them is just start growing something. That would be the main thing. See if that's something that you like and want to do first, and then just start growing and just keep moving forward. Keep planting the seeds, and it's something to come out of if that's what you want to do.
Okay, so you just said something, planting the seed. So do you save seeds and start from seed, or how? Do you have a greenhouse, or how is your operation going?
I normally purchase my seeds now. I haven't started seed starting, but we have a greenhouse where we start all our plants from seeds. We start all our plants from seeds, and then we transplant them in the garden. And we use a lot of the you were talking about the plastic culture. That's a lot of the stuff that we use on our farm. It is a lot of plastic culture. We use a lot of landscape fabric. We burn the hose. I set up plots on our farm. We set up plots like we probably did about 10 plots last year. And then they're permanent plots, so we don't have to go back and do that same thing again. So we'll do 15 to 20 more this year, and then do the same thing next year. So we don't have to continue to go back and do those plots. So they're set up, and we're growing every season.
Okay.
And because with farming is a lot of it's a lot of work, but then I found out if you set up these plots, it could become easier as you go on, because you don't have to go back and do that thing. And then we run drip irrigation under all of our plots as well. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, where I am now, this is I've been here a full year, but before that, I was in a more established neighborhood, and I did that drip irrigation because I did a lot of traveling in my job, and I didn't want to have to worry about my garden drying up, especially when you're using raised beds. And but now that I'm in my new place, I didn't set up the drip apparatus, but so far it's been working okay. But the part that isn't the raised garden piece, I find I'm having to work a little bit more on that. I don't know if I quite like that that fabric cloth on it or not. I know it keeps down the weeds, but it makes me feel like part of my garden is closed off or something. The dirt. I want to see the dirt. And,
you want to see the dirt, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna rip that up or try one more time with it.
Yeah. because that was one of my things. You know, when I first started at the farm in Marks, we had a lot of we were doing plots, and we didn't use a lot of fabric. And then
Mm-hmm.
if you're not careful, the weeds will take over your whole garden. You know what I'm saying? And then you won't have anything. So now we just use we use a lot of landscape fabric, and we also use plastic culture as well.
So it helps. It helps maintain. So when you say a plot, how big is a plot?
A lot of our plots are 40 feet wide and 100 feet long.
Oh, okay, that's pretty
We
big.
have a lot of we have a lot of plots that's 40 feet wide and 100 feet long. And then since where we at now, it was already set up as a farm, so we just like some of the old garden plots.
Uh-huh.
We just still incorporated those. Those probably like some of them are probably 25 by 25. We have some plots that's 25 by 25, some that's 20 by 40. You know, it's just different plots.
A mix.
But, yeah, it's a mixture. But then, a lot of our big plots, most of those are like 40 by 100.
Okay, so when you're talking about sustainable ag, what are some practices that you follow?
We follow we use the drip irrigation. We use the plastic culture. We don't use we use organic herbicides and pesticides.
Okay.
We don't use any Roundup, and we also this year I'm trying last year we tried using silage tarps because we had a few plots where we had a huge pigweed problem. So we using we tilled the soil up last year, and then we placed silage tarps over that soil so it can smother out the weeds. And then we're going to take those tarps out probably in the next couple of weeks, and then place the landscape fabric over there, and then plant in those. So hopefully, I'm thinking that would alleviate some of those pigweeds that we were having issues on last year.
Okay. Yeah, that pigweed is a real issue here in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very much so. And then since we don't use all, that Roundup and stuff, it can get crazy because they can take over a garden in a minute.
Right. So with your timetable, you'll start seeding, like planting your seeds this month or April?
We actually started in January.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we started planting seeds in January in the greenhouse.
In the greenhouse.
And then we have, in the greenhouse. So we probably have about 7,000 to 8,000 seeds so far. Plants so far. And then we put probably about 3,000 strawberry plants in the ground at the end of November. So those will be coming off probably around the end, towards a couple of weeks, towards the end of April. So we'll have strawberries towards the end of April and May and part of June.
Oh, okay. So I'm supposed to be getting some strawberry plants next week. Is that going to be too late?
I don't think it will be too late because a lot of people plant them. Home gardeners, that's how they plant theirs. They plant them, in the spring. But growing commercially, I've learned that you plant them that following year, like not that following year, the year before in like November, and then so they get a good crown on them.
Okay.
They get a good crown, and then you'll have good, you'll produce some nice fruit in the spring.
Okay. All right.
But, with that, like with growing strawberries, in the wintertime, we did cover them up with a frost blanket, and we just took the frost blanket off of them last week.
Okay.
So now they have a good root system, so we should have a nice strawberry crop this year.
Okay, so this frost blanket you're using in the greenhouse, or you're out in the field?
Yeah, the frost blanket is in the field.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's in the field. Yeah, we have probably about, I think, 17 or 18 100-foot rows of strawberry.
Oh wow! Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I think we did about 2,700 plants. 2,700 plants last year.
Oh, okay. Oh my God, that sounds well. I probably will get about 10. I think I can handle about 10. I mean, the guy that I'm getting them from, he asked me, like, you want 50 or 100? I was like, no, I can't. I don't think I can handle that many.
Yeah.
So, any advice? Should I do them in my raised bed, or should I do them in the other part of my garden? The ground rather than the raised beds? You're on mute. Okay.
Raised bed probably better, because the first time I grew strawberries, we did them in a raised bed, and they did pretty good. And so the raised bed would be pretty good since you only have 10 plants. So
okay. All right. So, any other parting words? Because I know, being a farmer, you don't have a whole lot of time to be commiserating with a podcaster. So, any parting words?
Just grow food. Everybody just learn to grow food, and
Well, I really appreciate you talking with me, Robbie. And I've been wanting to talk to you for a year or so, but you being a farmer, you don't respond to messages. So I had to send Chris out after you. So
where did you send me a message on? Was it on a social media site?
Yeah, I think it was through the messenger.
Oh,
and
okay.
I've learned that some people don't do messenger on their phone. They just do it through their laptop or something. So that's probably what happened. But I know if I got Chris on the ball, I would get you.
Oh, yeah, Chris, that's my guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you again, and I really appreciate you taking the time out to talk with me. And like I said, once things sort of look better weather-wise, I'm going to come and check you out.
Okay, great. Looking forward to seeing you, though. And thank you for having me on the podcast.
All right, and thank you. So that's all, everyone. Later, and take care and stay safe. Bye.
All right, bye.